So now it's time to learn how to update a resource, how to update a movie. Well, as you can see in our database, if you head on over to our database, you'll find that up until now we only have one movie. And let's first, before I work on creating a movie or inserting a movie, let's work on updating a movie. So here we already have this movie, and suppose that we want to update the storyline or maybe the genre or maybe the stars. There are things that require regular update, but there are things that you will never update. For example, the movie title is always going to be the same, but the box office, for example, and the stars are going to change from time to time. Therefore, we need to work on allowing the user to update these two or these and also other things. Let me show you how you can update a resource or a movie. Well, first of all, we need to create a file here. So here I'm going to click on this icon to create a new file, and then I'm going to name it update underscore movie.php. And then, as usual, I'm going to start with PHP, and then I'm going to add the header. Let me copy some code from the all movies here. I'm going to copy the header and the require and also the response. And then I'm going to paste them here in the update movie. And then what we need to do is that we need to get the parameters that we want to update. First of all, we need to update a specific movie. Therefore, we need to get the ID. And then we need to get other things, the things that we need to update. You need to ask yourself, what can be updated? So what can be updated is the box office, revenue, box office, revenue, and also the stars also can be updated. And also, what else can be updated? The storyline can be updated, but not regularly. The stars, of course, is very important. So these are the things. Let me also update the storyline. There are things that will never be updated, as I told you earlier, such as the movie title. Therefore, you shouldn't include them here. Only the things that can be updated. And I think these three might be updated. So I'm going to just include them. And then we need, as usual, we need to get them. We need to get the request. So to get these parameters from the request, unlike before I used to get the let me show you that in the get here, get movie by name, we used the get request. But in case of update, we don't use get. Instead, we use post. We make a post request instead of get request. So I'm going to say here if, and then if is set. Is set means if we have, in other words, it means if we have the post, this time I'm going to be using the post, $sign and then underscore and then post request. If we have the ID, and then here, let me push this, and then and then if we have also is set, if we have the storyline, post, and then here storyline, and also and if we have is set, the what else we need? We need the stars. If we have the post stars, and finally here, and if we have is set, the box office. Here, box office, post, and then box office. Box office, and double check your here what you have typed, because you might get an error if you type something wrong here. So if we have all of these, I'm gonna here say if, I'm gonna open the curly braces, and then here I'm gonna say else. So if you have all of this, then we can move on. Here, move on and update movie. Else here we don't have info enough info to update movie, the movie. So here, in case of success, what we want to do is that we need to get the ID and the storyline and the stars and the box office and store them in variables. So I'm going to say here ID. I'm going to first say ID, and then it's going to be equal to post ID. And then we also need the storyline, and then it's going to be equal to post, and then here storyline. And then we also need the stars, which is going to be equal to post, and then stars. And finally, the box office. And then it's going to be equal to box underscore office. So now we have these we have these variables, we have the values here stored. What we need to do is that we need, as usual, to make to build our query. So to build our query, I'm going to say here statement, which is going to be equal to connection, and then prepare, and then here the command is update, and then what we need to update is that we need to update the movies table, update movies, and then set what we want to set instead of the old values. So what we want to set is that we want to set the storyline, the new storyline, which is going to be equal to the here single quotes, and then storyline, and then comma, and then we also need the stars, which is going to be equal to single quotes and then stars. And then in a new line here, let me add this in a new line. We also need the box office, which is going to be equal to box office. And then where ID is equal to the ID, because we need to update only one movie, not everything, only one movie. So where ID is equal to the ID of that movie. And then what we need to do is that we want to execute this query. So after that, we need just here to say if, and then statement, execute, and then else, and we are good to go. Here success, here failure, pretty simple. So in case of success, what we want to do is that we want to just let the user know that the data has been updated, the movie has been updated. So I'm going to say here response, and make sure that you have the response array here. We have the response, and then I'm going to say error, and then the error is going to be false, because at this point there is no error, false. And here response is going to be here the message is going to be movie updated successfully. Here in this particular case, the message is very, very important, because we aren't returning anything to the user. We just updated the movie, and we need to return something. We need to tell the user that we have updated the movie. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to know that we have updated the movie. So here you need to provide a message that is very meaningful. So I'm going to say here movie has been updated successfully. And this is in case of success. In case of failure, here, let me copy these. In case of failure, we just replace this false with true, and then the message is going to be movie failed to update movie. And then I'm going to remove this part. Movie. And finally, at the end, here in case we don't have the parameters, we can also say here, we can also say error true. We have here an error because we don't have the parameters here. Movie has been here. We don't need this. Instead, we need to say, please provide us with ID, story, line, box office, and stars. And finally, we need to print the response. So here I'm going to say echo and then JSON encode, and we are good to go. Echo and then here I'm going to say response. We are good to go. Now we are done. For testing, I'm going to be showing you how to test this, but because testing is going to be different than testing a GET request.